Picture this. You're waking up to the sound of the Atlantic Ocean, grabbing a fresh pastel de nata and a strong coffee, and stepping right out into that gorgeous Portuguese sunshine. It's literally the dream for so many expats, right? But if you're actually planning to make this your reality in 2026, you're going to hit a massive wall of bureaucracy right out of the gate. Trust me, your biggest hurdle isn't finding a flight or even packing your bags, it's choosing the right visa. So, welcome to this explainer. Today our mission is to solve the ultimate Portuguese immigration puzzle for 2026, deciding between the D7 and the D8 visas.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Passive income or digital nomad? Honestly, this is the absolute fundamental question every single prospective expat has to face. It completely dictates the rules you follow, the paperwork you file, and really, the kind of life you're going to live once you finally cross that border. So let's unpack exactly what the Portuguese government is looking for so we can set you up for a totally successful move. Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the D7 passive route. Then, the D8 digital nomad visa. After that, we'll do a head-to-head comparison, cover the big tax changes coming in 2026, and finally, figure out exactly which visa fits you best.
All right, starting with Section 1, the D7 passive route. So, the D7 visa is basically defined by one single word: passive. It's a residency pathway designed primarily for retirees and non-working expats. What does that actually mean for you? It means the income you show the government to prove you can support yourself has to be generated without your active daily labor. We're talking about stable recurring funds. Think pensions, rental yields from properties you might own back home, or consistent dividends from your investments. Basically, the government just wants to see that money naturally flowing into your bank account while you sit back and enjoy Portugal. Absolutely no daily grind required.
Moving on to Section 2, the D8 digital nomad. Now, the D8 visa, which you've probably heard called the digital nomad visa, is pretty much the exact polar opposite of the D7 when it comes to how you make your money. This one is specifically for remote workers and freelancers who are earning an active income. That means you are actively trading your time and your skills for a paycheck. Whether that's a regular salary from a foreign employer or freelance contracts from international clients, you're working for it. But here's the absolute key. That money must come from outside of Portugal. You're basically bringing foreign capital into the Portuguese economy through your own daily hustle. Okay, Section 3, the head-to-head comparison. Let's put these two in the ring together.
The Portuguese immigration system literally splits you right down the middle based simply on where and how your money is generated. Ask yourself, are you living off the fruits of your past labor and investments? That's the D7. Or are you actively grinding away at a keyboard every day for a foreign company? That's the D8. I can't stress this enough. Mixing these up on your application is, hands down, the #1 reason people get rejected.
Just take a look at how the data clearly separates these applicant pools. Under target profile, you've got retirees and investors firmly funneled into the D7, while remote workers and freelancers are pushed over to the D8. Then notice the income type, passive versus active. It's night and day. And finally, look at the source of income. For the D7, it's investments and pensions. For the D8, it's a foreign employer or clients. Listen, if you try to apply for a D7 using a remote salary from an American tech company, the immigration office is going to immediately kick it back and tell you to apply for the D8 instead. It happens all the time.
Actually, I want to pause right here and give you a huge warning regarding the 2026 updates. There is incredibly strict scrutiny on the D7 right now. IMA, which is the Portuguese immigration agency, is aggressively cracking down on this active versus passive income distinction. Remember, the D7 is literally designed for non-working expats. If they audit your bank statements and see a regular active salary coming in from an employer instead of a pension or a dividend payout, your application is in serious jeopardy. Plus, once you're approved, the D7 traditionally restricts your local work rights, whereas the entire D8 visa is built specifically around your right to actively work remotely. Keep that in mind.
Which brings us to Section 4, tax changes in 2026. Because choosing a visa is really only half the battle.
2024, man, that is a year that will live in infamy for a lot of expats. That was the year the famous non-habitual resident, or NHR, tax regime officially ended. For years and years, the NHR was basically this golden ticket that drew foreigners to Portugal with these incredibly generous tax breaks. But because that era is officially over, newcomers arriving in 2026 absolutely must have a new tax strategy, or you could be setting yourself up for a very, very expensive surprise.
So, what's the replacement? It's the new IFC tax regime. And yes, I know it's another acronym. Portuguese bureaucracy absolutely loves a good acronym. But here's exactly why you need to care about this one. The IFC offers a flat 10% tax rate for those who actually qualify. This is a massive, massive deal when you contrast it with Portugal's standard progressive tax rates, which start at a base of 14% and can climb all the way up to a staggering 48%. If you structure your income correctly to fit these new 2026 rules, you could literally save yourself tens of thousands of euros.
All right, let's bring it all together in Section 5. Which visa fits you? Let's look at our first really common profile, the retiree. If your monthly income is completely generated by a fixed pension, or maybe you own a couple of apartments back in your home country and you just live off those rental yields, you are the exact target demographic for this pathway. The main takeaway here is that if your income is entirely passive, the D7 is your definitive, unquestionable match, period.
On the flip side, let's look at Profile 2, the tech freelancer. Maybe you're a software developer, a graphic designer, or a remote consultant. If you're actively working from a laptop, maybe looking out at those dramatic cliffs in the Algarve, or soaking up the incredible internet speeds in the Azores, and you're billing clients outside of Portugal, the D8 is purpose-built for you. You're an active earner, so this is 100% your visa.
Okay, so what are your immediate next steps? First, take a really hard, honest look at your finances and determine your exact income source. Is it active or is it passive? Be totally honest with yourself because I promise you the immigration office will be. Step 2, get your NIF. That's your Portuguese tax number. Seriously, whatever you do, do not skip this. A NIF is an absolute, non-negotiable requirement for literally everything in Portugal. You can't open a bank account, you can't sign a lease for an apartment, you can't even set up your internet without it. The good news? As of 2026, you can often start this process remotely. Finally, step 3, once you have your NIF and you've got your income type completely dialed in, go ahead and apply for the corresponding visa.
We've laid out the rules, the tax implications, and the exact profiles the government is actively looking for, whether it's the passive ease of the D7 or the remote working flexibility of the D8. Both of these are absolutely incredible pathways to an amazing life in Portugal. But that's only if you play by the rules. So I'll leave you to evaluate your own financials with this final thought. Which path will fund your Portuguese dream in 2026?